As a reminder, please silence all cell phones. Welcome to today's press conference for Norfolk State Spartans head coach Larry Vickers. Norfolk State Sports Information Director is Alex Lembeck. We'll now take questions for Coach Vickers. As a reminder, please state your name and affiliation at the beginning of each question. If you're on the Zoom call and have a question, please use the raise hand function, and I will call on you if we have time for your questions.
I'm going to look good under these bright lights. These are bright.
Thank you. Larry, Janie McCauley from Associated Press. Nice to see you. Yeah, your women were very well spoken and gave some great answers here.
That's good.
Yep. Along those lines, we asked them a little bit about going against two imposing posts and Brink's shot blocking ability, and just how they were saying that you just attack as usual and don't let them sort of get in your headspace and just keep going. I mean, it seems, is that something you've been coaching them to prepare for this game?
Yeah, that's kind of twofold. I have Fios and Cox back in Virginia, and we don't have Pac-12 network, and I have all the channels. So it was really my first time really seeing this iteration of them two together, and it's imposing. It is, but we know Cameron Brink's in a block shot, so we know it. So tell her good job, and then tell her I'll be back in a couple seconds. But, we got to have that mentality. We score a lot of points in the paint. Obviously, they dominate the paint, but they're going to have to share some of the space a little bit.
Cheryl Coward, Hoop Feed. Along those lines, with your players stating that they just want to stick with the game plan and their scout, and they were, like Janie said, very well spoken and very complimentary of you and why they came to Norfolk State, and they don't seem intimidated at all by the atmosphere, and maybe that's good that you don't have the Pac-12 network and they don't either. Do you kind of see that as an advantage, that they may not have as much knowledge about a storied institution with the winningest coach in college basketball history?
Well, I mean, we're very, very familiar with Stanford and who they are and what they represent for women's basketball and coach. I tell everybody, I even changed a little bit. She wrote an excerpt in a book. It's called Winning Ways for Women's Sports, and I read it. And it talked about where she sits on the bench and how she hires her staff and things like that. So we're very aware of who they are and what they can do. Luckily, I've been a part of a similar situation to this when I was on the men's side as an assistant, and Norfolk State men's basketball beat Missouri to then #2. So, you can't go into any of these situations scared. Obviously, we know they have post depth. We know their wings are the size of our forwards. We know that. But you got to be confident in situations like this, and we just want to be confident. We want to be confident that some of the things they might struggle with may be one of our strengths, and vice versa, So we obviously struggle to rebound overall, and that's their strength. So we know we have to kind of take advantage of grabbing every defensive rebound that we can.
This is your second straight year in the NCAA tournament. What does it mean to you and your program to get back after last year's campaign?
Well, I've been on Norfolk State campus 22 years as a player, men's assistant, men's associate head coach, and now 8 full years as a women's head coach. So there was a lot of time in there, especially those late 2000s. There was a lot of 1-win, 2-win seasons that I saw. So when they gave me this task, I was up for the challenge. I believed in what our program could be, and 8 years later, back-to-back, is definitely astonishing.
What did you learn from playing South Carolina last year that'll help you tomorrow?
We just want to compete. We want to compete. And, when you play these great basketball teams, I mean, Stanford could have easily been a 1. They could have easily been a 1. And if they probably beat USC, they are a 1. We understand that. So when you see these great basketball teams, you just want to take it one media at a time, one quarter at a time, one period at a time, and then hopefully in the middle of the fourth, you looking up and you have a chance to win. So that's going to be our mentality going into tomorrow night. We know we got a tough task. We've been trying to stay up extra late, you know. So we'll see what that looks like at a 10 p.m. start. But I will say, yesterday we practiced at 10 p.m. would have been our time. And it was one of our better practices. So it made me ask, is that okay for us to practice at 10 o'clock on the East Coast? Because it was definitely one of our better ones.
Larry, your players said that there's a culture that they feel, you know, on your campus and being part of this program. And Diamond coming home and having that support, she mentioned that being really important to her, being around family and friends and the support system of this program. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit about maybe the culture around your program and your campus, that for those of us who don't necessarily know?
Okay. Well, you know, I don't have the thickest rule book, but the rules and the things that we do, we want to have a level of perfection with those. And, you know, when I got the call about Diamond, I was like, you know, like, who's pulling my coattail? Like, but, you know, she's been around our program for years. And, you know, she's been at 2 very good programs at Rutgers under Coach Stringer and obviously NC State with Coach Walker, with Coach West. And for her to see our program and say, hey, it's something special about that one, you know, when we don't have hundreds of $1,000s in NIL and things like that, it kind of, I guess, just speaks to the way we do things. And it also speaks to the culture on our campus as far as, you know, we play in front of 1,500 fans, which might not be a ton here. But across the women's basketball spectrum, that's more than a lot of A-10 schools. That's a lot more than a lot of Sun Belt schools. So we have constant support for our women's basketball program all year round. And, you know, the band's a little different and the music's a little different. And she thought it was something that, you know, she could be successful in, you know. So for her, well, I guess for me, the difference between South Carolina and this game today is, you know, last year they had, I guess, 10, 12 McDonald's All-Americans. We had 0. You know, this year we at least have 1. You know, we have 1 Jordan game person. We have 1 Olympian. You know, somebody who can hopefully tomorrow, I know she's going to see a lot of different coverages, put us on our back and carry us through some quarters.
Cheryl Coward Hoofeed. Diamond is a small guard. She's only 5'5".
Yeah.
But what is special about her? And, you know, she has that Philly fire that Dawn Staley has,
yeah,
of
sure.
course. So what's special about her and what she brings to this program?
Well, I mean, she's a professional scorer. That's what she is. She has every shot in the shot tree. When they talk about 3-level scores, you know, sometimes we're like, man, does she have a 4th level? Like, she just has a knack of finding ways to get her shot off. And that can't really be taught. And then, you know, for us, we do run a lot of pro-style stuff, stuff that I think will help her on the next level, making advanced reads, you know, with lifts. And we do some okay stuff, I think so. So, you know, I think that'll just kind of show in her gameplay as we move her to scoring spots, or she's at the 1, or wherever she wants to play. You know, we just try and get her involved in a lot of ways.
Larry, did you get a chance to speak to Coach Vanderveer yet?
I saw her outside, but I didn't want to bother her.
Oh, she would like you to bother her.
Everybody was there. The whole staff almost was there. So I was like, are they kind of meeting when we pulled up on the bus? But I'm excited to get a chance to meet her tomorrow.
Okay. Over the years, I've been around her 22 years now, and she, when Dawn Staley was a young coach, she went into the South Carolina locker room here and talked to Dawn and her team. She did it when her alma mater, Albany, was here this season. What does that mean for perhaps for young coaches? What does that mean for you to hear that she continues to mentor and learn? She switched, you know, they traded scouts with Albany. Just things like that go a long way with mentoring and showing that she's a lifelong learner and still cares about everybody else she's going against.
Well, you know, I think there are a lot of different coaches across the country. You have culture coaches, you have X and O's coaches, you know, you have defensive-minded coaches that you know what that score is going to look like. I think with Coach, when you turn that film on and you see that she's still running new actions, you know, you're like, oh, she's continuing to grow her offense, where some people you turn on, they've been running the same stuff for the last 20 years, and she is continuing to run great stuff for us young coaches to take and run ourselves. And then obviously, you know, she's coached the highest. You know, so anytime you have a moment, Olympians, anytime you have a moment to take in any wisdom from that, you want to.
What's something you're looking for in the first quarter tomorrow, where if it happens, you'll feel good about your team's chances?
I'll tell you this. It's going to be key for us to box out. I guess that'll be number one. You know, they're going to be able to score the basketball. So I'll be looking to see how they play certain ball screen actions early and see if I have to shift a game plan or two in the game. But, you know, boxing out is the easy one, but the middle ball screen coverage will be something that I'll really be paying attention to.
Any more questions for Coach Vickers? Thank you, Coach, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you all for attending today's press conferences.
Thank you.
We hope to see you for tomorrow's games beginning at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.